Filming from GenCon 2016, I'm here at the booth of Ares where they're presenting several new exciting games, and one such game about which I want to learn a bit more is Behind the Throne. And Roberto from Ares has agreed to tell us a little bit about the game. Thank you, Roberto.
Hello, Marco. Okay, so Behind the Throne is a new game by Ukrainian design studio iGames, which is also the studio behind Mysterium. It's a pretty popular game released a couple of years ago. Behind the Throne is a push your luck card game which is very simple to learn but quite deep in terms of how it plays. The game is based around trying to control a diverse collection of characters. There are 9 different characters in the game, and each character has a different special power which is represented in iconic form on the character card itself. So for example, the judge will allow you to reuse the power of another character. The most powerful cards are actually hindrances. Their powers is not really a useful one, but it's a disadvantage for the players. So you see, green powers are powers that allow you during your turn to control and manipulate the situation. Red powers are disadvantages and are associated with the cards which give you the most victory points at the end of the game, but during the game they are somehow an hindrance. While blue powers, like this one, are in fact protective powers that help you protect from the interference of other players. For example, this card protects you from other players who try to destroy your cards, try to discard your cards. So the trick is that the most interesting and most useful powers are associated with cards which have a very low victory point value, while the cards with a higher victory point value, like the Queen and the King, have actually hindrances for the player. The point is that you cannot have all the characters in control. As you see from the players there, you can have a maximum of 5 different characters that you control. So normally at the beginning of the game you're trying to have the characters with the most useful powers, while as the game progresses you are trying to get rid of those low victory point but strong characters and try to keep for yourself the characters with a higher victory point value. The main mechanic is a push your luck mechanic that we will see in operation in a few seconds, I think. You will start drawing cards and you may continue to draw up to 5 cards as long as you don't draw a card which is higher than the previous one. If you draw a card and higher, you go bust and you lose your draw. If you may decide to stop at any moment. When you decide to stop, you may take the cards yourself, or you may decide to swap the cards with another player. So you may give all the cards that you have just drawn to another player and steal one of his cards. If when you draw 2 cards which are the same number, and you can only swap, for example, like 2 5s, then you can launch an attack against another player and try to destroy one of his cards. The point is that in fact you may manipulate the draw by using the power of certain cards. For example, the power of the 2 allow you to take a peek of it's the oracle, allow you to take a peek of the deck so that you know what you're going to draw next. Other cards, say for example the general there, allow you to reduce the strength of the card you are drawing by -3. So for example, if you do this, I might have a draw, like I draw a 5, then I draw an 8. Normally I would go bust, but thanks to the power of the general, I can make this -3 becomes a 5, and not only now I don't go bust, but I can also destroy the card of another player. So it's the interaction between the 9 powers is very tricky, and while you're trying to gain the upper hand. And the other important element of the game is that when you have a certain character, it's not granted that you control the power of that character. You only control the power of that character if you are the one with the most cards of that character.
Oh, I see.
So, for example, in this moment, Veronica is the one who controls the power of the general because she's the one with the most ones. She has the power of the assassin because she has the one with the most force, and he has the power of the Joker, for example, because he's the one with the most threes. So when you try to discard or steal cards from the other players, what you are in fact trying to do is trying to gain an advantage in controlling certain characters and their powers to get the upper hand in the court and try to be the one who's in the best situation in the game. The game ends after you go through the deck once, and then you shuffle with the deck the end of the game card. When so the end of the game is not predetermined. As soon as you draw the end of the game card, the game is over, and you count the points. And essentially, you count the points for each character you control. But only if you have more than one card. So for example, in this moment, the score on the table, he would score 7 points, plus 5, 12, plus 3, 15, while the 8 and the 6 wouldn't score anything because they are. So he would be 15, she would be 4 points, she would be 4 points, she would be 11 points, so he would win the game if the game would end.
If the game ended now.
Yeah.
How long does it take to play?
Oh, it's pretty fast. It can take half an hour at most. Normally, not much more than that. It's it's simple. In fact, I explained all the rules. Everybody who's watching the video can play now, but it's pretty deep in terms of players' interaction, and so there is a nice level of strategy.
Perfect. Thank you very much, Roberto.
You're welcome. Thank you.